when the Monday morning, afternoon, evening, yeah, it's afternoon, not evening, is going on. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name's The Schiller. We've been doing this for 13 years, not actually the stream, but apparently being on Twitter or X for 13 years, trying to think back to when I first got into it. I don't even know what the reason was. Can you guys remember why you joined a social media platform? I remember for other ones, it was because friends were on it, but I don't know if there was any actual reason for X, because I don't think there was that many people on it or tweeting or posting way back in the day. But anyway, happy 13 years to myself. Let's get into all of the news. So a golden Bored Ape sold for 666 wrapped Ethereum. So there was an offer put in, basically $2.3 million. This is back on Friday. I think the market took a downturn. Today, it's going up. Could be well worth more than that. A lot of questions that sparked from this sale because of the fact there was ones that were cheaper on the market than this one specifically. So then you make the arguments, all right, do people actually care about a price? Or is this whole industry just like wash trading of some sorts? What the hell is the rationale for it? So you go down the list and then you realize that the person who owned that ape is Free Lunch Capital. Now, Free Lunch Capital is one of the big NFT whales that's out there, right? There's a couple different ones that have all made their mark at various points. And I think they were a part of a platform which intended on fractionalizing assets. So you would take Pudgy Penguins, you would take Bored Apes, you would take CryptoPunks, whatever it is, Super Bowl, what's going on, and you take a single asset and fractionalize it essentially into a whole bunch of tokens, or maybe fractionalize is not the right word because I kind of forget how it worked. But then instead of going and buying these tokens straight up, you could just buy the tokens that are underlying, and the concept of it was that it was going to, ladder up, ladder down, match whatever the intending price was. And we've seen before, right, especially in the celebrity realm, where they come into the space, they buy a whole bunch of NFTs. If you remember Paris Hilton, they did My Forever Fairy Tale, whatever the hell that was. There's a Polygon collection for like $11. She was on Jimmy Kimmel, and they were promoting Bored Apes, showing, hey, we're like a part of the industry. I have no idea if they're even still doing anything remotely within it, but there was, and I would argue even still is, a rationale for trying to make a big splash in space. And obviously this Free Lunch Capital paid a lot for it back in the day. But why did somebody spend so much right now for that specific one? I don't think we've heard, but the person who accepted that offer decided they were going to add back a gold ape from the floor. It's not the same one, but they spent like 100 ETH on that from, 666. Not horrible. They bought a few CryptoPunks near the floor, and they're apparently wanting to get a few more. So now they're looking out for recommendations. Very interesting. And then Beanie highlighting that the Fresh Wallet, right, which doesn't really have a track record, was the ones that also bought that 200 ETH Otherside land. And these are the headlines that we keep going about, okay, the price is what gets people's attention. Now, does that move the rest of the market? Not necessarily, but it does bring attention. Hence why we're bringing it up on stage. So there's this old speech from Sam Altman giving the elevator pitch for his first ever startup. And I just want to point out for a second, we've continually seen people be in projects, go to other ones, people that found one thing, go to the other. And there's a lot of people that are just going to keep at it until they hit a winner. And so there's your example of people that just keep doing that. And obviously Sam Altman working over at ChatGPT, or OpenAI, I should say, but creators of ChatGPT, and doing quite well with that. Lord Snowwolf highlighting the fact that Rings of Power Season 3 is now in production. Listen, we got some takes on the TV show. It's not bad, but listen, I do love the Lord of the Rings series, and I think we just need passion about what we love in life. And some of you might be passionate about the NBA. Now, this was a while ago, so it's a little bit of a clickbait headline, but I want to recount that back in March of just this year, there was every single major account, whether it be an influencer, whether it be a sporting team, whether it be an organization of any sort, that was getting compromised, and random Solana tokens were getting made off of it. So the NBA at the time, again, this is fake, and this is a couple months ago, but the NBA is taking the game to the next level, introducing NBA Coin, our official digital asset on Solana, designed to enhance fan engagement in the future of sports transactions. There's no way that like a big entity would like talk like this, so always keep aware. And then number two, just as a side note, you're probably aware of, but anytime there's like this elongated hyphen, I don't know the correct terminology for it, it's written by ChatGPT. The amount of people, it doesn't matter the industry, everybody is putting every single post through ChatGPT, and they're not removing that. So it's so clear as day that like 95% of what's written online is from that. Yo, Peckham, what's going on? Yo, I appreciate you letting me pick your brain a little bit earlier. Absolute friggin' legend. So recounting good times back in the day. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. So the NASCAR track inside or outside of a baseball stadium, this was one of the big happenings in sporting events on the weekend. They actually had to shut down this game because of the weather delay for it. But here's something that's just stupid about it. So Major League Baseball failed. The Bristol game was the MLB version of Firefest. Awful logistics, no food except bunless hot dogs and cheeseless nachos. Multiple shuttles to even get in the stadium and completely unprepared for rain. And look at how miserable everybody looks. Every time I go online, I'm just like, we're just going to stay home, baby. We're going to hang out and have a good time because this looks miserable. I'm curious how much the tickets are for it. And apparently it was only supposed to be like a one-day game. It wasn't even a series. Like, why put in that effort if you're only going to do it for like a singular game? Unbelievable. And speaking of times changing, of where, back in the day, I might be like, hey, you know what? Let's go out, go for ice cream, go for walks all the time, go for nature, bike rides, etc. Well, look at this. So estimated percent of 30-year-olds who are both married and homeowners from 1950 to 2025. So I understand this isn't necessarily relating to crypto or NFTs or anything, but in terms of the world changing from what it was and looking at how different things and the impact, I mean, do we say that it's like, due to online, this kind of thing? I don't think so. I do think that it's more on the monetary side of things. But look, back in 1950, 50% of people were by the age of 30. Now in 2025, it's less than 15%. Times are changing. Super Bowl. It seems like no fun to go in a huge crowd of people. Call me an introvert. That looks awful. Listen, I agree. That's why we hang out here. We're all in our like secluded rooms or little cubicles, as the business people like to say, and we're having a good time together. You know what I mean? So Ozzy Osbourne unfortunately passed away the other week. And we highlighted on stream at the time that the NFT collection, speaking of NFT celebrities, that did something within the space, had CryptoBatz, and these surged a whole bunch. Apparently it was 550% from 0.02 ETH to 0.126. So, I mean, like 0.02, we're talking like just under $100 to like 400, 500? Like it's a pretty significant increase on there, but now it's apparently back down to 0.03. So it is interesting that people, oh my God, this is a historic NFT in the moment. And then, oh, never mind. We were just hoping to do it for like a quick flip, which is, I mean, welcome to the industry. But a gold Pudgy penguin sold for 30 ETH, $110,000. We got all this stuff going on with Otherside. And we got another one on the Pudgy side too, 244. One of the icy ones or whatever. Oh, hell yeah. Unar, what's going on, brother? Yo, I live in the Bronx. Unbelievable. Okay. So when we talk about the retail side of things, we would argue, right? Peckham, Super Bowl, Hoons, if the four of us were hanging out, we'd probably be like, yo, we are retail. Or maybe not. Maybe we think, hey, we're the people that are a little bit different, that we're like really engaged and we just don't like passively do it. Like what's the definition of retail? If you have a certain dollar value within crypto, does that make you more than retail? Or as long as you're not associated with the company in some regard, are you considered retail? What does it look like? But Smokey here with an interesting story of going out golfing. Went golfing yesterday and was paired up with a couple of guys in their late 20s. Eventually, we got onto the topic of work, and I told them that I work at a crypto company called Polygon. Pretty big. They told me they had invested in a couple of Bitcoin and XRP, and probably a couple other ones. I find most people that I meet that are casual crypto investors are always invested in XRP. How do they break out so effectively into the mindshare of the general public? And it's a great question. Is it because it's a lower price point and people say, oh, so $3 for an XRP versus, $100,000 for a Bitcoin or $4,000 for an Ethereum? Is it that aspect? Is it there's more people that are out there creating content and there's a narrative that's built around that. Distressed Pickle, you think that it's a low price point, but we've highlighted multiple times, and this isn't supposed to be a diss at all, right? Like, we're just having a conversation, but it absolutely is a thing where, like, the narrative has taken over in that regard. Nothing says rip better than a flip JPEG on the news of a death just on Jesus Christ. You're not wrong, Shadi. You are not wrong. So the Snex, which sounds like this should be like a derogatory insult to I don't know who, but it's just, I don't know why this sounds weird, but it's up 725% over on the Solana landscape. We've talked last week heavily about Ethereum rocks, Mooncats, CryptoKitties, all these like OG Ethereum NFTs, right? And it seems that ever since there was a conversation around people, institutions having some kind of an NFT fund, that the historical NFTs really started catching a bid. And we haven't really seen that in Solana, I don't think. I'm not super in tune with that ecosystem, to be totally honest with you. But, I mean, hell, if it's happening, it's happening. I have one of these. I say that I'm not in Solana, and then I bought one of the Solana phones. I don't know whether to keep it and try to record, like, random content on it. If it's... excuse me. If it's got better camera quality, I don't really know if I need the purpose of having two phone. Yo, Tribe Called Rex, how we doing? What's going on? Yo, are you guys minting, or are you working with Lumen, or what's going on in the Root Network side of things? What in the halibut's going on? I'm curious. We haven't talked in a minute. But back to the point here, Seekers, this is the Solana mobile phone. And obviously you guys are probably familiar with Solana, the blockchain network. Obviously, it's way up there in terms of market cap. What we've seen from Solana, what they've tried to do is multifaceted. So they started and they were deeming themselves as the... Maybe this is incorrect, so I'm almost speaking out of turn now that I'm thinking about it, but it felt like Solana was trying to pitch itself as the gaming chain earlier on, and then meme coins took flight, and now Solana is now considered the meme coin chain. And so if you were going out there and buying some sort of token, like Bonk, I think Bonk's on Solana, then Bonk is like leveraged Solana, like Pepe is leveraged Ethereum, as people say. And then they're continuing down the realm of, well, hold on, the world's kind of got like a monopoly on Apple, the Android devices and whatnot. Obviously, Apple's much bigger, but the conversation comes into when you look at some of these crypto applications that are happening or being developed. We've seen time and time again where they've run into some barriers because of, you know, whether it be regulations on the iOS that aren't actually regulations. This is just Apple saying, hey, we'll have this on here, but you have to give us like a 30% cut or whatever else it is. And if we have different choices, if people don't like what's going on one sense, are they going to go over to another option? And this is kind of playing third fiddle. Obviously, BlackBerry was a big mobile unit at a point, but then the Seeker coming through, and then you're like, okay, what happens now? So I don't know what to think. One of the big reasons I think these sold out, similar to how we've seen multiple NFTs sell out on the fact that they were, multiple products sell out because there was some sort of a financial attachment to it, like the Gary Vee book that had the NFTs for VeeFriends. If you purchase, it wasn't VeeFriends. It was like the frames. What the hell were they called? It was on Treasure Trove. I forget what the name of it was, but you buy Gary Vee's book, you got these NFTs with it. The original Solana phone, you bought the phone, you got enough airdrops of tokens that basically paid for the phone in its entirety, and now we're seeing other Game Boy-like devices coming out. We're seeing more renditions of this phone. What happens with it? We'll see. My nieces and nephews, 19 and 25-year-olds, all think, but what if XRP is Bitcoin? Well, we went over that the other day, and it would have to be like an ungodly market cap to even go to like $40, and we have people that are doing like headlines of it's going to 1,000 plus, which is crazy. But I mean, I guess let's be optimistic. Tribe Called Rex finishing up the collection will mint on Tradeverse, but also we'll use Lumen for seasons, keeping all the root ecosystems in the mix. Hell yeah. Listen, you gotta add Silo to the payment on there. Just saying. Book NFTs, woohoo. I still have those boxes. Yeah. Some of the screenshots from back in the day were just unbelievable. So I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know if I'm going to get banned myself. I'm going to be totally honest here. We wanted to give like a live reaction. But Brian Armstrong here, they posted this new Coinbase ad, and I guess the UK was like, we're gonna can it. So our ad, which got banned in the UK by the TV networks, has sparked quite a reaction. If you can't say it, then there must be a kernel of truth to it. Okay, so if I'm gone forever, guys, remember, this is the last video we're going to ever say or show. Let's get into it. This is a commercial from Coinbase. How greasy does it get?
We ain't got no troubles, no reason to complain. 'Cause here in Great Old Britain, we just love it when it rains.
Morning.
We're cozy here at home, even though it's not our own. But wait a few more years and who can say? Everything is just fine. Everything is grand. Your life can get no better when you're living by the letter in this pleasant land. Everything is just fine. Everything is great. The streets can't get no cleaner, nor the rat meat any leaner. No, life is just first rate.
Everything is just fine.
These fish fingers are a steal.
Prices up a smidge.
Just 100 quid a meal.
Empty purse, but hey, could be worse if there was nothing in the fridge.
Strategic realignment means I get to work for myself. Yeah!
Paying off one or degree with tips from each delivery. Excuse me, sir, I have your tandoori. Everything is just fine. Everything is grand. Your life can get no better when you're living by the letter in this pleasant land. Everything is just fine. Everything is great. We're soldiering on. We're doing our bit.
We're off to Dubai.
It's time to jump ship.
We're tightening our belts with a stiff upper lip. 'Cause everything's just fine.
Wow. So do we have any takes on that? I mean, there's a lot of like underlying messages to the various parts throughout there. I mean, it was probably too loud. Holy jeez, I feel like my ears are ringing. My goodness, it felt like a Mary Poppins 2025 type remake. It felt like it had a very dark undertone too. Like everything was negative, everything was bad. See, part of me is like, okay, so if the idea is to get people to go to Coinbase, is it just saying, hey, like, we think everything that's going on there is bad and not working, so like come to us, and like that's just like the messaging? Okay, sure, I'm down with it. But I don't know, I feel like it's missing some like extra context or like explaining more than, because the only thing regarding price was like talking about how fish fingers went up to like 100 quid or whatever, right? Which is a lot. But that very interesting that was banned in the UK. Very, very interesting. So it's a bit of a somber post here from Crypto Overlord, and I love the fact that they were able to explain what happened. So within crypto, obviously there's a bajillion different problems, attacking vectors, people looking for jobs at different points, and people that are nefarious actors, to say the least. So here's a little bit of a backstory from a compromise and wallet drain. So some of you know I got scammed and it's not fun, but I'd like to share what I've learned because I think it might help you. One, I downloaded a .exe file to beta test a game. It installed spyware through Chrome and scraped every wallet I'd ever used in that browser. This included, at minimum, Bitcoin and Ethereum via MetaMask, Xverse, and Magic Eden wallets, all compromised. Number two, the spyware didn't just target extensions. It accessed every seed phrase ever entered into that Chrome browser. Years of wallet data exposed from one mistake. If this happens to you, the first thing you do is take your device offline. Then find the private keys of every wallet used on that device, factory reset your computer or switch to a clean one, re-import your compromised wallets to the clean device, transfer assets out to the new wallets that were never exposed. If NFTs are being stolen and you try to use OpenSea or Magic Eden, the scammers might block your moves, they can lock your wallet or mess with gas to stop you transferring. Here what worked for me. I couldn't transfer from my Magic Eden wallet directly, but I imported the Bitcoin seed into Xverse and was able to move ordinals, runes, and rare sats. Don't assume it's over. Try every tool. Yo, RDL, good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming in. So this is super interesting because the extent of this attack is pretty absurd because generally speaking, unless somebody has your seed phrase, for it to access every single one that's ever been inputted from this, like, not to talk out of turn, but I did not realize like that was a possibility. But I guess depending on like the extension, like where if you download a malicious virus, like when you download a file versus accepting a transfer, right? Like if you say, hey, like you think you're doing something right, but then it actually like just scans your wallet to take everything out of it. That is very different than installing. So that's a very key takeaway from this. I see it as fiat is going to shit and crypto is the way out. Okay, Tribe Called Rex. Listen, that Coinbase ad, I like the breakaway from this. Okay, so Jagged here. Just they're done. They're done with NFTs. Listen, we've seen a lot of people done with the capital D. But what's the problem here? So most of Matt Furie's collections are now worthless. If you don't know who Matt Furie is, he was the guy that created the Pepe. Yeah, like literally Pepe the Frog, not the meme coin, but the actual meme behind it. So he had multiple different collections, which I'm super confused because now going to this was Heads, which was a very limited style collection from Matt Furie. You can see some of the different ones here before, and then you can see on these, it's like the collection hasn't revealed yet. This is giving like a spin of all the different characters for it. Some of them have. I mean, if we go back to activity here, on the I mean, this must be absolutely flying with stuff. 8 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, 2 days ago, people are just absolutely moving stuff. 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago. I mean, these were going for over an ETH 2 months ago, not even. And then all of a sudden, everything's getting weaved. Over on the Zog side, this was another thing that I've seen people actually rock his profile photos, and these were multiple different ones where, like, I mean, this bird one here is like 730 of them, but if you wanted to have a Matt Furie collection, the concept with it was, hey, you know what? Instead of having to pay an ETH, you could buy something here for, I mean, this is what, $3. I mean, it was supposed to be more, but there was like a big compromise that happened the other day that I'm still trying to really understand what the hell is going on from it. And I don't know if they hired a wrong dev, if relationships went sour. I'll try to follow up more with it tomorrow if I remember, but let's continue. So there's no effort to fix anything. There's no accountability, no handoff to the community, nothing. Chain and Saw let this happen, which was, I think, the devs or a collection that they were building, like those Zogs. I've seen plenty of scams in crypto, but I've never seen a project abandon its supporters this badly, without even pretending to care. Thousands of regular civilians got burned, many for the first time, and they deserve better. I met several amazing artists while collecting that I still consider good, but watching this collapse hurts. It's still your hero. Duty of care is legal obligation. In 4 years, Chain and Saw took in over 25 million, then started ignoring red flags and kept quiet with the community, took the hit. They hired the wrong people, skipped basic checks, ignored security, and let a hack happen. Okay, so it's starting to come back to me a little bit. So I think what happened was there was a dev wallet that was compromised or something to that effect, where their collections, like that one that I highlighted a minute ago, where there was like 730 of that individual, I think they were only supposed to be like of a collection of like 100 or something. Yo, VGF, what's going on, you beauty? Long time no see. Hope you're well. And so, again, like Matt Furie is one of like the biggest artists in the space simply because he was a part of Pepe. He was somebody that was out doing these things, and just simply by the fact that there was a hack in it, and they haven't posted anything regarding it. I just find that super, super, super strange. But again, tomorrow I'll try to keep up with it, and if there's anything else regarding Matt Furie and some of these other lackadaisiness, we'll see you. Last night, Otherside Meta had me up until 2 a.m. playing Greenlight Red Light with 100+ people. So we heard the other day where Garga from Yuga said that they were basically trying to make Roblox but integrated with crypto, while everybody is able to go and create their own experiences. Now, the concerns, questions, whatever you'll have with it is, all right, well, how do people get on there and, you know, get people to want to get off the likes of Roblox, League of Legends, whatever games they're playing? And then it's like, okay, well, who's going to build out these experiences? And then for those experiences, how do they get to the front page of it? So this is something that I'm very intrigued to watch, seeing that 100 plus people are there playing the Squid Game. Well, do we even call it the Squid Game? I feel like that's like the reference for Red Light, Green Light. I don't know if I've had any experience for that game except for that TV show, but very cool to see. So BSCN this morning says, Justin, SEC Chairman Paul Atkin announces Project Crypto, aiming to make America the crypto capital of the world. This was news from last week. What do you friggin' mean that it's just in? I can't. I keep seeing these accounts that say breaking news, just in. Oh my God, let me say some bullshit headline at the beginning to try to make you pay attention when it's happened potentially 24 hours to 72 plus hours. I can't. Unbelievable. I can't. So, recap. If you missed what Project Crypto is, everything is getting tokenized. Like, I mean, everything is coming on chain. And that's what they're saying when they're saying, hey, you know, like the world, cryptocurrencies, everything is trying to be adopted for like the new user, which is you and I, and we're out here being like, woo, this is exciting. And then the market absolutely completely crashes. There was $1 trillion that was lost like on Friday, right? Like absolutely dreadful weekend. And then we come into today, and in the past 24 hours, we've got Ethereum up at 6%, XRP up 5%, Tether, it's a stable coin, it ain't doing anything. True, BNB up 2%. Also for BNB, do you guys remember like doing anything on BNB ever? I know there was some devs that I knew back in the day that did some collections on BNB, and I think I had a wallet or like partook in that ecosystem for like maybe a month in my entire crypto journey, which is like 4 or 5 years, whatever the hell it is. But boom, we are at the all-time high or nearing it essentially for BNB. Bitcoin, it's doing that. Ethereum hasn't hit it yet. There's still a whole bunch of talk about Solana on here. Where the hell is Solana? 167 all-time high for Solana. What? Wait, where are we? 228-ish. 236? All right. So again, looking at that, the fact this is up 20,000% is absolutely absurd, by the way. Funny as hell to look at some of these cryptocurrencies from back in the day. And then we go back to the arguments of, oh, it's this, that. And the other thing, fear of greed's basically at neutral. Nothing that crazy happening. Lil Pepe up 322%. Holy smoke, 324, but yo, 325. Whatever the hell that is absolutely mooning right now. We'll see how long that'll last for. But of course, when you check out the trending, does anything look that interesting? Ethereum, Solana, Pudgy Penguins too. I feel like Pudgy gets in the news for like a week, and then it feels like it's a little bit quiet, and then all of a sudden it's in the news again, and then gets a little bit of quiet, and then all of a sudden it's in the news again. And Disney Pinnacle is the other one right now, which I haven't actually done anything on Disney Pinnacle like ever. That might be outing myself, and maybe I shouldn't be saying that because some of you are pretty hardcore. But we've seen massive one-of-one sales, several $1,000s for just like normal pins in general. But if you're somebody that's out there, if you do have Disney Plus, you are able to actually get like a free capsule for Disney Pinnacle. Yes, it's NFTs, but you get one free monthly, and they're cooking pretty good right now. So if you're wanting to get into some, that might be for you. And I haven't even made an account, so I got to do that too. So this is the final thing we're going to end with, and I'm trying to like fully comprehend how rich this guy is, because this is somebody who keeps buying everything Yuga related. So Adam Weitsman, today is a special day for me. I'm making a long-term investment in Otherside and acquiring over 5,000 Otherdeeds mega codas and weapon codas direct from Yuga Labs. Everybody in the chat just sighed a big shit. They're not buying off the market. Can you imagine if you went out and you bought 5,000 Otherdeeds right now, what that would do for the price? But they did an OTC deal. Nah, it's criminal. That's criminal. Have a couple friends that have popped off on the Disney stuff. Dude, everybody's saying like this is the next Top Shot. We're feeling it. It's got a very good PR sentiment around it. And I think that's a huge thing here in 2025, at least latter half 2025. If you have like a positive kind of, general sentiment, I think it'll pay massive dividends to compare to ones that don't have that, but are still kicking around. I've also committed to making a series of acquisitions on the open market this year. Okay, all right. There you go. I have recently seen Yuga refocus and prioritize Otherside meta. There's a lot riding on this project for the whole space, and I'll do my best to help make it a success for everyone. I don't know if I can pinpoint like a big player in each ecosystem, right? So like if we take like the Pudgy Penguin side of things, if we take the Who the hell else is out there that's kind of like near the top? I don't know. Claynosaurs, Azuki, all these different like major collections right now. I don't know if any of them have like the FU kind of money that's getting put in from Adam here. You know what I mean? Like it's absurd how much this person is financially supporting everything that's going on there. Distressed Pickle, why does Yuga have 5,000 Otherdeeds still? That is a great question. But I guess every collection or every team does hold back a percentage of their collection. And I guess 5,000 in the realm of them having 100,000, but initially plotting to have 200,000, which to Raymond's point from the other day has said that they are not doing that second 100,000. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the whole other deeds that and had that prior information. Apparently that's not the case, but this is still wild. So I guess like, let's make an argument for a second before we wrap up. I love the fact that we are out there supporting and wanting to build these experiences. However, we've seen with the likes of Sandbox where you have to go out, you have to purchase a whole bunch of different, you have to potentially hire a whole bunch of different teams to build out experiences for you. And so is this something that Adam is going to do? Is he going to purchase these to hold on to them so he has a bigger amount and then if they're successful is able to flip them? What does it look like when they're trying to help it make it succeed? And that's my big question for all of these different NFT platforms that are metaverses of sorts, right? Okay, you have some of these toolings that are supposed to come out. You have these experiences, these realms. What's the next step to actually have people onboarded from people that are creating these collections? Because we've seen individualistically, and maybe this is a better point, people have gone out to try to make games full stop on their own. And a lot of have run into the problems of we don't have the player base. We have to hire too many people, run out of funding, whatever. I would imagine that on the likes of Otherside, for Readyverse, for Portals, for the Sandbox, having an instance where that bigger entity could potentially push your experience to a whole bunch of other people might make way more financial success for anybody that's wanting to create any sort of game. Now, you're probably limited to, hey, we have to make it look a certain way. It has to fit in certain parameters and whatnot. But this might be the thing where just gaming is more based on some of these bigger platforms because it's too much of a risk otherwise. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. I do want to give a friendly shout out if you are wanting to have a little bit more content for myself on the RWA side of things, and it's not me yapping and interviewing some of the best in the industry and giving you a little bit of a fresh take. If you check out the link in the description below or on my bio on X, it's a weekly podcast where we have 30 minutes where we just kind of yap it up and have some cool guests on. I appreciate you guys coming on through. Wild Buffalo, JJ Kanaj, I appreciate you guys coming through late here. Hoonzy, VGF, RDL, Tribe Called Rex, Peckham, Super Bowl. Oh my goodness, we had so many people here today. This is great. Love it. Maybe we'll do a little bit later streams like that. We like the yapping? Hell yeah. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are good. I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.